In a quiet village tucked beneath the whispering hills of eastern Africa, an old woman passed away. No one noticed. No one cared. Her house crumbled with time, and her name vanished like dust in the wind. But on the day of her lonely funeral, something unbelievable happened. A lion emerged from the forest and walked straight to her grave. What he did next shook the entire village forever. Before we dive deep into this story, subscribe to the channel so you never miss powerful and thought-provoking stories. Let's go in deep. Malaika lived in a small, forgotten village where time moved slowly, and stories were carried by the wind. Her hut stood at the edge of the forest, its thatched roof worn by seasons and the sun. No one remembered when she had arrived. Some said she had always been there. She walked with a cane made of carved mahogany, her back hunched, her silver hair braided tightly. Her eyes, cloudy with age, still sparkled with strange wisdom. She spoke to birds, fed stray dogs, and often disappeared into the woods for hours. Children feared her. Adults avoided her. To the villagers, she was strange, silent, and unnecessary. She was the woman who whispered to the trees, who lit candles under the moon, who gave without asking for anything in return. They called her Mama Mbaya, the bad mother, not because she had done wrong, but because she made them uncomfortable. What no one knew was that Malaika had once been a healer, a guardian of stories, a midwife who had helped bring hundreds of babies into the world. When her husband died young, and her only son vanished in a tribal war, she retreated from people but never from kindness. Each evening, she placed food outside her hut, not for humans but for creatures of the forest. Birds chirped at her door. Monkeys swung from trees to greet her. Even the hyenas kept their distance out of respect. But most astonishing of all was the lion, a great lion, golden and majestic, would sometimes sit near her garden at sunset. She called him Simba Moyo, Lion of the Soul. No one else had seen this lion. No one believed her. They laughed, saying she had gone mad. Despite their mockery, Malaika continued her gentle ways. Every morning she walked to the river with her cane, blessing the water as if it were sacred. She would gather herbs, whisper into them, and crush them into pastes that she stored in old calabashes. She left fruits at the shrine under the ancient baobab tree and sometimes sang lullabies in a language even the elders no longer understood. At night, she lit incense and stared at the moon. Her hut would glow faintly, and the air around her would carry the scent of eucalyptus and lavender. She healed injured animals. Once a wounded stork landed at her door. She nursed it for weeks until it flew again. Another time, she removed a thorn from a leopard's paw as it lay beside her like a house cat. People whispered tales of her powers. Some said she could speak to spirits. Others claimed she had no shadow. But no one ever asked her the truth. No one sat with her. No one thanked her. Her years passed in silence, solitude, and secret acts of love. And then, one quiet morning, she did not wake up. When a child delivering firewood found her body, word spread quickly. The village chief shrugged. She was old. Let the earth take her. No one offered a funeral. No songs were sung. No prayers said. 2 grave diggers, both drunk and grumbling, dug a shallow grave just outside the village boundary. Her body, wrapped in a torn mat, was laid into the earth like a forgotten object. Not a single soul stood by. Not a tear was shed. But just as they covered the last layer of soil, a low growl echoed through the valley. From the edge of the forest, a lion appeared. Not just any lion. A massive, proud creature with golden fur that shimmered in the sun. His eyes were wise, filled with something ancient and unknowable. The men froze. The lion walked slowly, deliberately toward the grave. He circled it once, twice. Then, with a deep groan that sounded almost like mourning, he lay upon it. The villagers, drawn by the commotion, gathered in fear. Children clung to mothers. Warriors held spears, but none dared approach. The lion stayed the whole day. He did not eat. He did not sleep. He simply kept vigil. When night fell, he roared, once, long and sorrowful, and disappeared into the forest. But he returned the next day. And the next. For 7 days he came. On the 7th day, something remarkable happened. The sky darkened though the sun was high. A strong wind blew through the village. Leaves danced wildly and birds took flight. From the center of the grave, a golden light burst forth. An old woman, wrapped in white cloth and radiant with peace, appeared in a vision. The villagers fell to their knees. "You did not see me while I lived," she said, her voice echoing like music and thunder. But the forest saw, the earth saw, the lion saw. Her eyes turned to the chief who had once mocked her. "You led without wisdom. You ruled without love." To the mothers who had kept their children from her, she whispered, "You feared what you did not understand." And to the youth she said, "Open your eyes. Kindness is not always loud. Love is not always seen." With that, the vision faded, and the lion roared once more. The villagers wept. They rebuilt her grave, adorned it with flowers, candles, and carvings of animals. The forest seemed to sigh in relief. The chief declared the spot sacred, and in their dreams, many saw Malaika again, younger, smiling, surrounded by animals, her cane now a staff of light. Life in the village changed after that. The children began leaving food for birds. The adults started tending to sick animals. A small shrine was built near the baobab tree where people left. Gifts and whispered wishes. People began listening more, judging less. They remembered Malaika in their songs, in their stories, in their silence. And every year, on the anniversary of her death, the villagers gathered by her grave. They lit candles, sang lullabies, and told tales of the lion who loved a forgotten woman. Some say they still see him, standing proudly at the forest's edge, guarding her resting place. But the biggest change was within their hearts. They began to value the quiet ones, the different ones, the kind souls who expect nothing. And so, the woman once ignored became the soul of the village she had always watched over, not through noise, but through a lion's roar, not through fame, but through silent grace, not through presence, but through eternal spirit. If this story touched your heart, do not forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to remember the quiet power of kindness. Watch our next video for another emotional and powerful tale that might just change the way you see the world. Until next time, stay kind, stay thoughtful, and never ignore the silent hearts around you.